boy, he finds the daylight. And then catching. Remember that great comeback victory against the Raiders? Cemented with that throw from Theismann to Joe Washington. Tonight, the Redskins against the Chargers, but the Chargers without the great Dan Fouts, sidelined with injuries. He'll be succeeded by Ed Luther from San Jose State, who had his first NFL start last week. He is no slouch. All he needs is more experience. But a man like Kellen Winslow keeps the weapons going. Monday Night Football.
Monday Night Football, the Washington Redskins against the San Diego Chargers. Hello again, everyone. This is Frank Gifford along with Howard Cosell and Don Meredith, and this ABC Sports exclusive is being brought to you by Miller High Life. The best beer for the best time of the day. Welcome to Miller Time. And by ColecoVision, the expandable video game system. By Chevrolet, official U.S. cars and trucks of the 14th Olympic Winter Games. Chevrolet and you taking charge. And by the home computer from Texas Instruments. That can give your kids a head start in school that can last a lifetime. A sellout crowd, as it always is, here in San Diego. And the San Diego Chargers are up against it. Their record 3-5. And, of course, the Washington Redskins trying to do one thing, that is taste the Dallas Cowboys in the NFC East. Howard, for the Chargers tonight, it's going to be tough.
That's right, but let's go to the NFC East first to put things in perspective. Washington wants this win, stay hot on the heels of Dallas. They've got a revenge game yet to come against Dallas. Meanwhile, in the AFC West, a dogfight. Denver and the Raiders. But the key point for San Diego, if they don't pull an upset tonight, for them, it's all over. In the meantime, they are injury-riddled. The list of injuries, unbelievable. Some of those will see some action tonight. We'll fill you in on that. The key point, Dan Fouts out. And to update the Dan Fouts story right now, live on the field with the great quarterback, there he is, Dandy Don Meredith.
Thank you, Howard. Dan, it's awfully, I hate to see you this way. I know you hate to be that way. How badly do you feel your shoulder is?
Well, it's a rotator cuff, and they tell me it's the most sensitive part of a thrower's mechanism, and it's very easy to damage again, and they're taking it real slow with me.
Okay, you got a pretty tough team coming in here tonight. Do you see that the San Diego Chargers will maybe do something differently with you not being in there?
Well, I don't know if we'll be able to do much of anything different than we've done all year. We're going to try and throw the ball as much as possible, and hopefully if we can get some running game going, keep the guys off of Ed Luther, and make sure that we can move the ball down the field.
What will you be doing, Dan, down here on the sideline? This is an unfamiliar place for you. What will you do during the game?
I'm going to just try and think the game along with Ed and try and help him out, and if he has any questions that he can draw upon my experience to help him, that's what I'll be doing.
Well, you know, it's Halloween, so some strange things can happen tonight, right? Frank?
All right. And there are an assortment of masks here in the stadium tonight. And there is a grave concern on the part of San Diego fans that this could be their season. Howard touched on it. And they are going up against a very tough Washington Redskins team, world champions. They are solid all the way. The Redskins will receive, as you see, they are lining up to our left. And we noticed that Mike Nelms will be back there for the Redskins tonight. He missed last week's game against Detroit. Talked to him today as a very severely bruised left forearm. But one of the fine return men in the business today. There he is, Mike Nelms. The Chargers 3-5 if they can win tonight. However, they will only be 2 games behind Denver and the Raiders in the AFC West. And here comes Mike Nelms. Nelms over the 30. Mike Nelms out to the 45-yard line. And this man has been doing it ever since he came down from Canada, and so has this man, Joe Theismann, the leading passer in the NFL, through 8 weeks of play. He trots onto the field, and the man can do it in so many ways. Enthusiastic, a spiritual leader in that huddle. He offers just about everything as we look at the rest of the Redskins lineup. John Riggins, he missed last week's game. He's back in there, as did Charlie Brown, and he's also back. First down and 10, the Redskins at their own 45-yard line. John Riggins bowling ahead behind the likes of Russ Grimm and Jeff Bostic and Mark May. And they are big up front, these Redskins. Riggins gets a couple. It'll be second down and 8. Let's take a look at the smaller defensive unit of San Diego. A young defensive unit. They have 2 rookies, inside linebackers, Billy Ray Smith and Mike Green, and they have 2 rookies on the corner in Gilbert and Danny Walters. 4 rookies starting in very important positions for the Chargers. 2nd down and 8. The Redskins bring it up with 2 tight end offense, single setback. Their coach, Joe Gibbs, a player early in his career for Don Coryell and coached under Don Coryell of the Chargers. Riggins right side to midfield and more down close to the 48-yard line of San Diego. A pickup of 5. It'll be 3rd down and 3.
Plain truth of the matter is, if anything is to halt the Redskins tonight, it looks like it would have to be complacency. And I see no evidence of that from the coaching staff right on down, especially through Joe Theismann.
3rd down, long 3. The offensive line, we'll call them 7th because they use 2 tight ends for the Redskins. Averages 264 pounds. The 7-man front, linebackers and down linemen for San Diego, 242 pounds. Theismann just does get it away, and he goes out to Joe Washington. Washington coming off his best game as a Redskin a week ago with 147 yards rushing for the Redskins. Gets the Washington 1st down inside the 40 near the 39-yard line, and we'll look at it from the end zone. Theismann has a sense about football. He's been around a long time. He had to release this. He could feel that pressure coming in, and he was right on target to the little man who works so well out of the backfield. You saw him in our tees. Howard mentioned he can beat you so many ways. He can do it running, he can do it receiving, and he almost thinks intuitively with Joe Theismann. 1st down, Redskins inside the 40 of the Chargers. Theismann play action to Riggins. Wide open over the middle. This is Virgil C. Touchdown, Redskins. Virgil C. in the lineup. No one picked him up. Coming across the middle, wide open. 39-yard touchdown strike by Joe Theismann.
This is one of the most amazing teams in terms of human spirit I have ever seen in the National Football League. They think collectively, they think together, they have a high intelligence quotient as a team, and Joe Gibbs has proved himself an extraordinary coach in the freedom he gives the players, and you don't see any complacency, do you?
Moseley drills it through. That was Virgil C.'s 2nd reception of the season, and the 3rd-year man from Troy State has the Redskins out on top. 7-0. We'll be back in a moment.
Ho, 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 ho. It couldn't hurt.
The Goblins are out on Halloween night, and the Redskins are the Goblins thus far.
It could be.
4 plays.
You look better
from their own 45-yard line. They lead 7-0.
What do you mean? That's that mask on, too.
Ernest Jackson is deep. This one goes short. And is taken down there. This is Bruce Laird. Bruce Laird was hoping it would go out of bounds. He would get the penalty, and the Redskins would have to kick over. It stayed in bounds, and San Diego down 7-0 will start deep in their own territory, inside their own 15, led by Ed Luther, 33 of 63, 1 touchdown, 4 interceptions thus far this season.
Well, if there is one advantage as you look at the Chargers' backs and receivers that Luther has over the great man, Fouts, it's his mobility. He's going to need it tonight.
1st down and 10. The ball near the 14-yard line. Call it the 13-yard line. The Chargers deep in their own territory. Young quarterback, Sherman Smith, is the setback, and this is Sherman Smith. Muncie is not starting, as Sherman Smith, who had a big game against Denver last week, averaging a little over 5 yards a pop, carried it 10 times, had 57 yards against Denver. He gets a quick 5 and moves it out to about the 18-yard line.
I don't guess anybody wants to tell me how Washington got 7 points, do they?
It only took 4 plays.
Well, I know I was
Riggins
busy,
twice, then the sideline hitch to Washington, and then to say.
Well, I missed it.
Sherman Smith, and there is another big opening, and Smith is up perhaps for the 1st down near the 24-yard line. They needed to get just over the 23. Sherman Smith, of course, acquired at the beginning of this season from Seattle. He had some good years up in Seattle. Seattle had originally traded him this year to Kansas City. When he got to Kansas City, the doctor said, no, you've got a problem with your spinal cord opening. He went back to his own doctor. The doctor said, you're just fine. San Diego picked him up, and with Muncy on the bench with a pulled groin muscle, not expected to see too much action tonight. The Chargers are going with Sherman Smith. Smith got the first down. Luther is back. Tries to get it to Eric Sievers. Incomplete. Last week, in the first start of his career, Ed Luther, a four-year man out of San Jose State, was 22 of 48, 193 yards, but he had 3 interceptions. He also had a bunch of drop passes.
Frank, I was surprised to see Sievers in there on first down. Don Coryell told us in our production meeting this morning that Eric wasn't 100%, would see action primarily in short yardage situations.
It's funny, I was down on the sideline, and everybody said was hurt. They said, well, they're not really as hurt as they were this morning, so we may see most everybody, but fouls.
Sherman Smith, and the big man, and he is big, at 6'4", 225, gets out of the 25, goes to the 27-yard line for a gain of 4. It'll be 3rd down and 6. Curtis Jordan defending Sherman Smith. I think one of the problems in taking the ball from Ed Luther, the receivers have for the Chargers, and it was pointed out rather well, I thought, last week by John Brody, who watched that game. And Denby says he throws it so much harder than Fouts. And when you work so many years with a quarterback like Dan Fouts, when they change to somebody who throws it as hard as Luther, it becomes a little bit difficult. 3rd down and 6. Luther, good shot. It goes to Wes Chandler, incomplete.
That was an example again, though, Frank. The ball was out there, but again, it was one of those things you had to stop, come back for. So it was not the kind of pass that you would really like to see in that situation, where the receiver can take it, then step on out of bounds. He had to stop and come back for it. You know, throwing that ball real hard. Craig Martin did that when he came into our camp. And being the kind of guy I am, of course, I kept telling him, throw it harder. Craig, throw that ball really hard, you know.
Quicker on, go on your road to Denver, huh?
Yeah, so you can throw that ball harder than that, Craig. Come on now.
Maury Buford, averaging a little over 43 yards a punt, is back on 4th down for San Diego. It's a beauty. Takes Nelms way back to the 20-yard line. Flag is down. Could have a clip. And Nelms working his way out over the 30-yard line.
That Maury Buford didn't kick enough times last year to even qualify for the, I guess, the punting championship. He kicked more than 4 times last week in Denver, the most he's kicked since he's been with San Diego.
They only kicked 21 times last year, and that mainly is because the San Diego offense a year ago just kept the football on offense. Either got 3 points or 6.
Yeah, I did tell you he's from Mount Pleasant, Texas, too, didn't I? Mm-hmm. It's 15 miles from Mount Pleasant.
Well, we're going to sort this out. Our referee tonight, Fred Silva, here he is.
Offense, number 55, illegal downfield.
His hit.
Illegal block, above the waist, number 58, Washington, replay.
So we're going to have offsets. We're going to kick it over again, and that I would think would be rather fortunate for Washington, because Buford got a punt off of about 52 yards, even though Nelms was able to bring it back.
Let's see a lot of those tonight.
We really will.
Yeah.
There are some really weirdos out in that stand.
Some strange folks in this parking lot tonight.
Halloween.
They're haunting. That's the net average for Maury Buford. Pass the punt plus the return. Mike Nelms. Look at that big bandage he's wearing and padding he's wearing on the left arm. Buford, not half the kick that he had last time, and it takes a very definite Washington bounce. And it bounces out of bounds near the 42-yard line. So the Redskins will have good field position once again. And from almost this identical spot, their first possession, it took 4 plays to get into the end zone. We'll be back in San Diego in a moment. Muncy is available. He was hit in the back 2 weeks ago against New England, and he stretched out so much he pulled a groin, missed Denver last week.
He calls it Muncy night football. He's had some great nights on Monday nights.
The Redskins, first down and 10, the ball just over their own 41-yard line. John Riggins, right side, and John Riggins moving behind George Stark. Pick up about 5 over the 45, close to the 47-yard line. Gary Johnson in pursuit.
You mentioned George Stark, a veteran out of Columbia University. Very upset today because last Saturday, Holy Cross 77, Columbia 28. And George can't live pleasantly with that kind of thing for his alma mater.
Columbia's been working too much on their offense.
Second down and 5. Theismann fires it in low to Charlie Brown. He had to come back for it on a diving catch, and I think he might be just short of the first down. It's going to be very close.
It doesn't matter where you throw the ball at Charlie Brown, he's going to get it. Look at his arms. The reach. The arms, 72 inches. Can tie his shoelaces without bending over. That's the secret.
Wait a minute.
Hey, I'm telling you, the man is incredible.
He has short legs. That's what it is.
A Bobby Beathard special. 8th round draft choice. South Carolina State. A whole story attaching to how Beathard found him. Scouted him. Got him. 8th round. And a super player.
You know, Dexter Klingsky out in Dallas and Angelo King. He was telling me today we're all teammates of his down there. That's a pretty good little group of players on one club.
He's the big play man for the Redskins. He had some incredible catches a year ago. 10 touchdowns in regular and postseason action. 3rd down inches. Whoa, I think Riggins had that before he was pounded. It'll be close. He was hit hard by Mike Green, the rookie linebacker, and a good one out of Oklahoma State.
He may not have made that.
It'll be very close once again. Theismann up there looking it over.
It's Mike Green they're really pleased with. Frank, talking to Coryell this morning, they got Green and Billy Ray Smith, 2 rookies there in the middle. That's asking a lot of those 2 young guys to... They got a lot of young players on defense. They're just hoping they can hold on long enough for them to...
You're right about Green. He leads the team in tackles.
A couple of inches short. And Joe Gibson in the punting unit? Yes, he will. Out it comes.
And Green, an 8th round draft choice. And interesting, Joe Gibbs taking no chances.
Yeah, they are proud of that defensive effort of the Chargers.
Chargers need a little something like that. Get a little spark going here. That early touchdown. Take the wind out of their sail. They need to have good play by everybody tonight.
Chargers do not have James Brooks available for return duty tonight, so you're looking at Dwight Scales out of Grambling through the Rams and the Giants. He's stationed at his own 10-yard line. Jeff Hayes back to punt for Washington. Off the side of Jeff Hayes' foot. And perhaps just what he wanted to do. It's inside the 20, and it dies near the 15-yard line. So the Chargers, without Dan Fouts, without Chuck Muncie thus far, and without James Brooks, will have their second possession. Chevy just answered a trick-or-treat doorbell. Welcome back, the Washington Redskins. 6-2 in the season. The Chargers 3-5. 8:56 remaining in the first quarter. The Redskins scored on their very first possession. It took them 4 plays to get in a Theismann touchdown pass, 39 yards to Virgil T. 1st and 10. The Chargers just over their own 15-yard line. This is Sherman Smith on the right side, struggling to just make the line of scrimmage. They were really surprised at how well Sherman Smith performed last week against Denver. He came in when Muncie couldn't go, had 57 yards in 10 attempts. Came to San Diego from Seattle, as I said earlier, this year.
Muncie hasn't worked out for 2 weeks, though this past Saturday he was in uniform, did some running.
No back offense.
2nd down and 10, and no pressure on Luther.
Being intercepted.
Fires and is picked off by Mark Murphy. 5th interception of the year, and Murphy will be down at the 33-yard line. And that time, Luther put it into the crowd, and I'll tell you, that had some zip on it.
But it just took off. I mean, that thing just zinged on up in there. Went over his receiver several yards. Murphy we'll see come in. He's the one most open, all right.
They had the 5th defensive back in the Redskins. They were playing the zone. Anthony Washington in there. And it was just over the outstretched hands of Rich Malott, the linebacker, right into the arms of Murphy.
Charlie Joyner made a good move to come back and touch him. At least get him down right there.
Near the 33-yard line. 1st down and 10. Joe Theismann directing the traffic for Washington. Which puts Riggins over the left side behind Big Joe Jacoby. And he gets his 5 yards again on 1st down.
Murphy.
That's Mark Murphy. Interesting young man. You saw the graphic earlier. Out of Colgate. Just got his master's degree. Now contemplates law school. Signal figure during the player strike. One of the leaders of the players' union. You can't trifle with that guy. He's got mentality.
2nd down and 5.
Give it to Riggins.
Again, right side, and Riggins works his way down for first down yardage, but a flag is down.
Hit somebody in the head with that flag.
That flag has fallen in what is usually going to produce the holding call, and once again it has. A lot of young kids on that defense. I mentioned it earlier. They got 4 rookies in there starting.
And those positions where the rookies are, the 2 inside linebackers, the 2 cornerbacks, maybe the 2 toughest places to play.
That's correct.
Or that they challenge them more out there.
And the nose tackle is a second-year player.
They've got 2 or 3 third-year players, but our graphics say we run out of space in there. I mean, we've got a lot of young players over there. Joe Gibbs is certainly aware of that. They'll probably try to take advantage of them. It's interesting to hear Theismann today. Every time, every game they played since Joe Gibbs has been there, had a brand new game plan. I don't know what that means.
The Redskins, the top scoring team in the NFL, through 8 games, have a second down and 15 following the penalty. Theismann wants it all, going for Monk.
That could have been a flag right there, but they didn't throw it.
No flag, incompletion. The defensive effort, the rookie out of San Jose State, Gil Byrd, against Art Monk.
The return of Art Monk to this team was critical because of his size, his strength, his speed, his moves. He is a reminder to many of Charlie Taylor, an old hero here at Washington, as you look at the replay. But at the same time, Donnie reminds me more of number 89, Otis Taylor, of that great Kansas City team.
Did you know that you're opening yourself up for me to get you to tell that Otis Taylor story again about it?
Not again.
Oh,
Not
okay.
again.
Third down, 15. Giaquinto, a good receiver in the lineup now for the Redskins. Theismann will run down the sidelines, wisely stepping out of bounds. Again, hit out of bounds. Gil Byrd, and Theismann punished Byrd when he went out of bounds.
Well, he's in Moseley territory.
And we will see Mark Moseley now, 17 of 23 on the year. Was 1 of 3 last week. And he missed one a couple of weeks ago. They could have won a game up in Green Bay in that wild when we had 48-47 Green Bay over the Redskins. He has made 17, as I mentioned. The longest, however, has been 42 yards. So this will be his season-long effort. And he will not get it. Off to the right. So the Chargers hold on once again, and they'll get the football back. And they'll get it at their own 26-yard line. 7:13 remaining in the first quarter. Colorful as ever. That Andy won. Frank Gifford, Don Meredith, Howard Cosell. And so far, the Chargers have held it to 7. We have Chuck Muncie back in the lineup now for the Chargers. There he is. Went out in the New England game 2 weeks ago, missed all of Denver last week. He's in there in a dual back setup with Sherman Smith. Muncie.
Oh, he likes that. A way to go, Chuck.
And the crowd lets you know that he's back. Gerald Grant made the stop, and not until Muncie rolls up close to a first down. He's short perhaps by about a foot, but close enough that they're going to measure.
We've just seen him have really some outstanding games on Monday night. Everybody, look how he holds the ball. We always say that because Chuck has tendencies to fumble a little bit, but he does kind of gear it around. I think he's a terrific all-purpose back.
Oh, he is. 230
pounds, and he's a good receiver.
If they're to have any ground game tonight, they must get it from Muncie. His last 5 Monday night games gained 100 yards every time.
Muncie, he'll have the first down. Moves out close to the 38-yard line for a San Diego first down. 2 consecutive carries by Muncie. He's tough. Don Coryell telling us today, when he got him from New Orleans, he said he didn't know what to expect, but when he came in, the man is one tough football player. And here's another one who was just activated. Tim Fox has been out for several weeks. Reaction action, we don't know.
He has a birthday today, 30 years old, Tim Fox. They're glad to have him just back on the squad because he's, in the cliche of things, he's one of the inspirational type leaders. He goes out there and does some things and people follow him.
First down, Luther's back. Fires out to Joyner, and Joyner will have another San Diego first down at midfield in front of Vernon Dean.
As is inevitable, Frank, if Muncie can move them on the ground, then you'll suddenly find Luther hitting much better on his passes. He'll be opening up the defense.
This man here, this was his 562nd career reception.
Vernon Dean just pushed him out exactly where he wanted to go that time. That one chuck that they're allowed pushed him right out into his route.
Thing about Joyner, he's playing his 140th consecutive game as Luther tries to get in between the zone to Wes Chandler. Unsuccessfully, it'll be 2nd down and 10.
This is not critical. I was talking to Dan. I was asking Fouts. I said, you know, you got Luther out there. And Danny, honestly, what is it that he can't do that you can? He says, well, really, it is the old thing about experience, but he has a tendency to lock in on one receiver. And if that guy's covered, then you can't come back and hit somebody else. And so much of this guy's success has been able to read all of those receivers where they are and pick the guy that's open.
I don't think anyone that I've ever watched could read it like Dan Fouts. 2nd down and 10. The ball at midfield. Sherman Smith, right side. Sprint to the sidelines, chased out by Rich Willott and Neil Olkowitz, the 2 linebackers for the Redskins. Gain of about 3. It'll be 3rd down and 7.
You see teams come out sometime and score too easily, and then just all of a sudden kind of go flat, say, hey, we got this thing. Everything's working just great. Washington scores 4 plays, and then the last 2 or 3 times they've...
Yeah, but this is a long game, and I think the spirit on this Washington team, as I indicated earlier, is very special.
3rd down and 7. The ball at the Redskins, 47-yard line. Luther is back.
There he is, Winslow.
Colin Winslow, the big man stays on his feet. Punishing people, and he will punish them.
That's why we said in the tease of the show, Kellen Winslow keeps the weapons going. That is a truly great football player.
He is also big. He weighs about 250, and watch this collision. First of all, he concentrates, gets it into his hands down.
Oh, my gosh. Green says, wait a minute, what is that I just ran into? He comes back and says, come here. I want some more of you guys.
Green is giving up almost 100 pounds.
Bernardini got the last time.
1st down and 10, the Chargers inside the 28. This could be another pass. That was a lateral, and it was Houlihan, who was a high school quarterback before he was a receiver at Notre Dame, tried to get the pass to Kellen Winslow, incomplete.
Might be one reason they shifted him as a receiver. That was low and behind him. You know, you go.
Well, it looked like a high school pass.
Hard to do. He's right-handed. They threw it out in the flat with the lateral, and he therefore could throw a forward pass on it, but he had to turn around to get himself balanced. He just never got around in position.
I'm telling you, there's some folks here tonight. Dolly. No, that's not Dolly, is it?
They see California crazy on Halloween. 2nd down and 10. Muncie in the backfield. This is Muncie. I think the 30-second flag had gone.
Either that or the whole right side moved too early.
Illegal procedure against San Diego, and we can tell you about college football here on ABC coming up on Saturday. 12 o'clock Eastern, 11 Central, 3:30 Pacific. Regional action. It'll be Alabama against LSU. Ray Perkins, Crimson Tide, getting it on with the LSU Tigers. Oklahoma goes against Missouri in a Big 8 showdown. Washington State against Oregon State. That'll be seen here on the West Coast at 3:30. College football, ABC. They're synonymous.
Don't leave out Cortland State against Ithaca.
I think he just ran out of time. Now, I mean, it was not intentional. I mean, I know Frank very well. He wouldn't have done that intentionally. Frank's not that kind of guy.
Might have been.
I'll be in Ithaca.
Okay.
2nd down and 15 following the procedure call. Luther looking all the way to Muncie. But Muncie stays on his feet somehow and gets back to the 25-yard line. And Luther made it very tough on Chuck Muncie. He watched him all the way out of the backfield, and that attracted a whole bunch of Redskins. Somehow Muncie worked his way through it.
I thought we were going to see another collision like we saw with Kellen Winslow, because you're right. Ed's watched him all the way. And Chuck just somehow sensed, yeah, you just had to sense those guys around. That's a great move.
You're making those kind of moves. His injury was a pulled groin, and it must be fine because those were tough moves that he just made. It's 3rd down and 8 now for Ed Luther. Chargers down by 7. 4 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Luther gets it complete. Houlihan. And Houlihan working tonight with Eric Seaver having a very sore ankle. And Houlihan, 3rd-year man out of Notre Dame, gets the San Diego 1st down.
What you're saying is what Chuck Muncie means to this team. From the moment he's come in, the whole offense has opened up. Luther is hitting better and better on his short shots to receivers. And Frank, you're right. Now he's living by Coriolis, by what he said. Seaver's not in there.
receivers has a very sore ankle. Holohan, who played a lot against Denver last week, has made two key catches tonight. Muncy again. Muncy's down to the 5-yard line.
It's Muncy night in San Diego.
He has not worked, except only lightly, this past Saturday, as Howard mentioned, in 2 weeks.
There's a fluidity that he has with those big, long strides, and then bury that shoulder, and that's Mark Murphy that tried to pick him up. Mark.
That's twice he's rattled Murphy now. And Murphy's a big man. Second down and about a yard for the first down. 12 plays now in this drive. Muncy, an easy 6. The Chargers on the scoreboard.
We're going to see some strange things here on Halloween night.
They're doing that against the Washington Redskins, number 1 in the NFL through 8 games against the rush. Muncy making it look easy.
Just looked like a little straight-ahead blocking, nothing really big in there. Good job by Mason, the center coming out.
I think Muncy was waiting to get hit.
You know, I think he was, but had Olkowitz in the middle. And just 1-on-1, he did a good job. Moving that thing around. Straight zone block.
Konerska to tie it up, which he does. And the 3:23 remaining in the first quarter. The San Diego Chargers used 13 plays to get it into the end zone. And the big man, Chuck Muncy. We'll be back in San Diego, where they love the action thus far, in just a moment. And he'll have a lot more than the 39.
Lowe,
He tied Paul Lowe's record for San Diego.
Paul now furnishes all the ribs here.
That's right.
Good ribs in this, what do you call that room?
Marvelous man.
Mike Nelms is deep. Konerska hits it. Hangs it high. Nelms from the 5-yard line. Nelms upended out over the 20-yard line. And you can almost sense the Chargers, who were, I think, being told by just about everyone they had not a prayer tonight, have got themselves pulled together to play a football game tonight.
Looking at this game in balance from the moment, we'll look at the touchdown again in a moment, but from the moment Moseley missed that field goal, which gave San Diego a lift, and Muncy came in, bang, and look at him pour in there, and look at that blocking by the offensive line.
Against the league's top defense against the rush. First and 10, Riggins, a lateral back to flea flicker. Theismann, Charlie Brown is down there, and he overthrows. Not bad coverage, however, by Danny Walters, the rookie from Arkansas. Theismann would have had to have been almost perfect to get the completion.
What was that Coryell said to us this morning? He said they're getting better. And one of the brightest spots, the continuing improvement of Danny Walters, who just executed the coverage that Frank described.
It's not a bad call, because what they wound up doing is getting downtown Charlie Brown and Virgil C. on those two rookie cornerbacks, and they had a man-to-man all the way out there.
Second down and 10. Joe Washington comes in. Dick Giaquinto's in. 2 farm receivers working out of the backfield. Monk is in motion. Washington on the ground this time. Washington gets himself about 5. It'll be third down and 5 as he's taken there by free safety Ken Green. Just under 3 minutes remaining in the first quarter. We're tied at 7 from San Diego on a beautiful night for football.
Or for most anything else. That sure is nice.
For haunting, if you're into that.
Oh, I'm not into haunting.
This may be America's most beautiful city. It is just a remarkable place.
You have kind of something like the best year-round climate or something, or whatever that best is. Everybody's got to be best at something.
Third down and 5. Number 25, Washington works well out of the backfield. Looks for the blitz. Theismann has to go deep. He didn't want to throw that. He wanted to throw short for the first down to Washington. He was knocked off at the line of scrimmage, and Danny Walters makes another play in the secondary for San Diego. And the crowd, which watched the San Diego defense riddled throughout the opening few games of the season, is on their feet, cheering their defensive unit.
Danny Walters is 23. Watch Ken Green, number 28,
comes in to help. Here. That's right. The free safety.
But I'll tell you, Walters almost intercepted that ball, didn't he? I didn't think it hit him right in the hand.
Jeff Hayes on to punt for Washington. White Scales is back. Hayes gets off a beautiful towering punt. Takes Scales back inside his own 25. And a hustling Redskins defense, and they do work on their special teams, and they are good. Punt of 49 yards, only a 3-yard return. For the Redskins, over the last 24 games, only 5 punts have been returned 10 yards or more. They do cover well. Going to Motor City next Monday night.
Going to Detroit.
And then we'll get a look at one of the most exciting youngsters ever to come into this game, I think, Eric Dickerson, when he goes for the Rams against Atlanta 2 weeks from tonight. First down and 10. The Chargers have the football, their own 26-yard line. Luther, Muncie, line of scrimmage, and that's it.
Eric Hipple had a good game last week against the Bears. I tell you, he's got those Lions and Bears hook it up. They get serious, don't they? Got the Giants coming to town. What do you laugh at, Eric?
The less said, the better.
Well, that's not nice. They got it going.
I told you, a couple more bricks.
Brick here, brick there.
Second down and 10. Muncie, the single setback. Movement, flags everywhere. Contact, and the whistles blow.
Say this about Dickerson. The Juice has to be watching him closely because Eric's got a shot at breaking Juice's one-season mark.
I'll say this about Dickerson. He's certainly got a fine education. What can I tell you?
False start, offense, number 75.
They don't turn them out of SMU unless they get them a heck of an education. That's all I know.
Andy Gissinger moving on the right side for San Diego.
That's nice. There's two likenesses. Looks a lot like old Smiling Frank, doesn't it? Oh, and Howard.
A lot of characters here tonight. They're having a lot of fun, and they're enjoying it thus far. We're tied at 7. 1:36 remaining in the first quarter. San Diego, second down and 15. Luther throws underneath to Severs, and Severs struggles out over the 30 to the 31-yard line, make it the 32, and it'll be third down and 4 for San Diego.
You just used the phrase throws underneath. Luther talking about. In 1980, when Washington pulled a remarkable upset of an apparently superior Charger team, they did it with Theismann throwing underneath the whole game. Interestingly, they haven't used that tactic tonight, and there's going to be a reason. San Diego has changed its defense.
And Washington has much better outside receivers. Clarence Harmon caught 12 passes in that game. Luther, Joyner has the first down.
What a
little man has been doing it for 15 years.
Wonderfully creative offensive pass pattern that time. They didn't have a running back. Put both the offensive backs outside the tackles or ends, and then they start sending people in motion. It's hard to cover all that sort of stuff. And old Charlie just slid in right there to the opening. Joyner's one of your favorites, isn't he, Howard?
I was
young man out of Grambling.
I was with Klosterman when he drafted Charlie in the second round for the Houston Oilers, and everybody said, "Who's Joyner?" Well, they found out.
Muncie and Smith are both in there at setbacks on first down and 10. This will be Muncie. Oh, Muncie rolling around the right side. He cuts back against the grain, short of a first down by about a foot before Mark Murphy feels the 230 pounds of Muncie once again.
I'm telling you, that's just terrific power. You've got him coming in. That is Mark Murphy and young Darrell Green. They certainly know that Muncie's back in town.
That's the end of the first quarter. The Chargers have brought their fans to life here in San Diego. We'll be back in a moment. He has been the man tonight. Chuck Muncie coming off the bench. Don Coryell this morning did not know whether he would be able to play tonight. And he has been the spark plug. The Chargers holding even with the Redskins through the first quarter at 7. Chargers now with a second down and a yard to go. They're inside Redskin territory near the 47-yard line. Sherman Smith has replaced Muncie now as a setback. This is Smith. Chargers have their own flea flicker. Wes Chandler, and right through his fingers. Mark Murphy went up for the interception. I don't know whether he deflected or not.
I think he did, Frank. He just went up and finally knocked it away, so he couldn't catch it.
Either that, Don, or he impeded his vision. I wouldn't be too quick to criticize Chandler on that play.
No, I'm not criticizing. I'd say, you see, he saw he couldn't intercept it. Look how long he stayed in the air, man. That's a heck of a jump.
I think he did touch it.
Yeah, he knocked it away, I think.
He got a finger on it. He's 6'4", and he does hang up there.
Boy, that is pretty.
Yep, he got it. Great play.
Charlie Joyner, meanwhile, would have been open for about a 30-yard pickup. He went down and hooked right up in the middle. He was a safety valve. Luther thought he could get it to Chandler. Right now, it's 3rd down and 1. Muncy is in there, but Sherman Smith will get the first down, and he's inside the 45. First down, Chargers near the 43. First quarter statistics for you.
There they are, and you see how San Diego leads in first downs and leads in total yards. And all in all, and in time of possession, San Diego playing with intensity after Washington on its first 4 offensive plays had scored a quick touchdown.
Stats, Don Coryell will tell you, he's outgained every team they played this year, and they're 3-5 into tonight. Joyner's in motion. Muncy right side. Runs into a pile of trouble over there.
Good defensive.
Kaufman, Neil Okowitz, the middle linebacker, were both there.
Mel Kaufman, number 55, was right in there, too.
I love that little conversation between Chuck and Dexter Manley, the big D.
Mr. D.
What a great player.
Mr. D, he says.
What a sense of humor.
He does have a good sense of humor, doesn't he? See those guys walk around out there, you just forget. You know, they not only just weigh a lot, but man, they're in great shape. They don't have any excess fat on them.
2nd down and 10 for young Ed Luther. Quick count. Sherman Smith over the middle. He'll have the first down. It's much more inside the 25 for San Diego. Mark Murphy had to make the save again there.
Looked like Rich Malott may have slipped down, the linebacker over the middle, trying to make a cutback. But he was wide open.
They are really cutting up Washington in a manner that you don't normally see.
Well, we're used to seeing these guys do pass blocking really well.
Some of the philosophy there. You saw number 80. That's Kellen Winslow. He not only took his strong safety with him, that being Mark Murphy, or rather Curtis Jordan, but he picked up the linebacker. They should have picked up Smith out of the backfield. First down, San Diego. 23-yard line of Washington. Movement at the line. Flags down.
Well, Doug Wilkerson, Don Masick, and Ed White, the guard, 2 guards and a center there in the middle. There we go. You see these guys pass block an awful lot, but we've seen them open some pretty good holes in that middle tonight, too.
Got a lot of years in those guys.
That's right.
15 for Ed White, 14 for Wilkerson.
False start. Number 11.
That was Ed Luther pulling away early from the center. False start. It'll be first down and 15. Luther looks over the defense and now has the 5th defensive back in. Muncy left side. Wilkerson with a good block for Muncy, and Muncy inside the 20-yard line. He'll get about 10 out of it and bring up a 3rd down and 5. Mark Murphy again defensively there for the Redskins, and Murphy has, I would say, made about 50% of the tackles tonight for Washington.
I'll tell you, Muncy doesn't just run, he rockets. He's averaging better than 5 yards a carry thus far tonight.
Doug Wilkerson, 63, Ed White, 67. They're the guys that kind of opened it up. But look at this move, picking up some extra yardage. And I tell you, Mark Murphy, he for sure knows that Muncy's playing tonight, doesn't he?
And I'll tell you, you run that way with a pulled groin.
Oh, it's 2nd down and 5, and JB, James Brooks, is in the lineup. He's in there now with Sherman Smith. Smith, left side. Smith up close to the first down, but perhaps a yard short. Charles Mann, the rookie 3rd-round draft pick out of Nevada at Reno, in on the stop of the Redskins.
The interesting thing about this San Diego team, Gift, through all the years, when you see them really executing, you realize that they have the greatest weapons in football, and yet they haven't lived up to it in the record through the years.
Well, it's not their offense, it's their defense. Their offense has averaged over 400 yards a game this season, and they're 3-5. They've led every team statistically. 3rd down and 1.
Those percentages are just for this year.
Brooks. First down, San Diego. Down close to the 11-yard line. He needed to get to the 12, and the crowd loves it. Team racked by injuries. We've dwelt on it, perhaps, and not touched on the fact that the Redskins themselves have had many changes from their Super Bowl championship team. Jarvis White on his holdout, fine cornerback. They start a rookie there themselves, Darrell Green. Tony Peters, of course, on his drug involvement charges, suspended. Matt Mendenhall, left camp, the defensive left end. All new positions for the Redskins this year. And they're 6-2 and performing well. Sherman Smith tries to break it back and runs into the pursuing Redskin defense. Maybe a yard. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Important to mention those missing men, because the man they've really missed is Tony Peters. As you know, admitted drug involvement there, and the action that was taken against him by the commissioner obviously had to be taken. While Jarvis White is missed, nobody inside of football compares the loss of White to the loss of Tony Peters. And that's been the point of defensive backfield vulnerability in Washington this year.
Chargers again on a long drive. This is the 13th play of this drive. Sherman Smith. Smith fumbles the ball. And
It is Washington recovered.
Washington takes the ball. That'll be a touchback.
What a horrible
Sherman
break.
Smith came out of the backfield carrying it like a loaf of bread. He never did tuck it away. I thought for a moment he was going to pull it up and try to pass the ball. He never did put this away. Carrying it both hands, it looked like he wanted to throw the ball left-handed. I think it was a pass, and he never did get it tucked away again. Mark Murphy hit him, and Monty Coleman covered it. That actually rolled out of the end zone. In any event, it is a touchback. He was going to throw this ball.
Well, he finally does, but it's not a very good throw.
I would say so. Carrying it loosely, he hit the helmet.
And with intensity, but the loss of that football in that situation may, as it so often does, and look at the turnovers as represented in the two teams' figures this year, may, as it so often does, cause a change of momentum.
2nd down and 7. Riggins. Big hole right side, and Riggins short of the first down by less than a yard as Keith Ferguson was in there defensively for San Diego.
This is kind of the first time we've seen Washington settle down. I really do think they scored too quickly. Now they came back and tried a little razzle-dazzle. They were going to let flea flicker. Now I said, wait a minute, here's how we got here. Let's run Riggins off left, run him off the right. They better run him again.
Riggins and Wansley are the setbacks. They're short yardage setbacks. Riggins left side, and just brute strength will get the first down for Washington at the 31, and we'll pause 5 seconds and allow our stations to identify themselves.
WSB-TV, Channel 2, Atlanta.
John Riggins, and what a year the man had a year ago. Over 500 yards in the regular season, but in the playoffs, 4 games, 610 yards. And, of course, the great Super Bowl effort, 166 yards, 38 attempts. He's in marvelous condition still, even though he was out last week with back problems. On 1st and 10, Charlie Brown in motion, Riggins right side. Big opening for Riggins over the 35 to the 36-yard line as he gets his 5 yards.
On reflection, Don, I think you may be right. They scored so quickly and so easily as you look at Riggins again in isolation that it had to have enough. In fact, I think Coach Gibbs was so confident. You remember that 4th down call when he had only an inch to go, and Riggins, send him either side, he's going to get it for you. But no, they punted.
Right, had a good block that last time of Jeff Bostic on Mike Green.
Walker, the moving tight end. Riggins left side, and Riggins this time held to a couple. It'll be 3rd down and 2 as Mike Green, the rookie inside linebacker for Oklahoma State, made the stop.
Been watching him, Frank, 58, and I'm telling you, he is active out there. We were talking to Coach Coryell this morning. He says, well, you know, he's not very big, not very tall, and he's not very fast,
but he's quick,
and he makes all the plays.
And he leads the team in tackles.
He is fun to watch. He and you got Billy Ray Smith, both those young guys in the middle. And
Billy Ray Smith, actually, as inside linebacker, their rookie 1st-round draft picked out of Arkansas, is He was a defensive end in college. It's a new spot for him. He's coming along rather slowly. 3rd and 2, wide open. Theismann has...
He went the wrong way.
Wrong way, and it's picked off. Theismann had his other tight end wide open. Don Warren was wide open. This one is picked off by Danny Walters as Theismann tried to get it in between 2 defenders.
Well, we told you about Waller's improvement as perceived by Coach Don Coryell. He emphasized it this morning, and it's proving out tonight.
I don't know whether you'll see the tight end on the right side, top of your screen left. You do not see it, but he was absolutely wide open. Theismann was set to deliver it.
Joe will go back and look at that film, won't he, Frank?
He will.
And he had 2 of them there covered, but you see, that's Green, Warren right in front of him, and it's just, I tell you, that Green covers a lot of ground.
He really does. He's helping out beautifully.
Trying to get it into Didier, and the Redskins get a turnover. Theismann, his 4th interception of the season.
Leads his Alabama Crimson Tide to Baton Rouge for their traditional battle against the tough LSU Tigers. Or a Big 8 showdown as Oklahoma takes on Missouri, plus other regional games Saturday.
Joe Theismann gets his 4th interception of the season. He had a remarkable string of 161 attempts without an interception. He tried to throw it into double coverage. It's picked off. The Chargers get the football back at their own 28-yard line. Smith and Muncie the setbacks. Muncie turns nothing into something. A gain of about 3. Now close to the 32-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 7. Mel Huffman defensively there for the Redskins. The Redskins just don't turn the football over and give away, take away, and that is you get it back more times than you lose it. They are plus 15. And they have, up until tonight, only turned it over 6 times for the season. 3 on fumbles, 3 on interceptions. Now it's 4. Sherman Smith. He's hit at the line of scrimmage. Ekes out maybe a yard. It'll be 3rd down and 5, and everyone changes on the field. The Redskins bring in their pass defensive unit, and we see extra receivers coming in. Holohan, a good outside receiver that plays as a tight end. Bobby Duckworth, 2nd-year speedster out of Arkansas. A good receiver is in there, but he's playing tonight with a very sore hip. One of those that was questionable. The man down and 5.
Man to watch in this situation may be number 51, Redskins, the nickel linebacker, Monty Coleman.
Luther, the ball batted away, but a flag is down.
It's going to be a funny one because that flag, it looked
almost after the ball was batted away.
Yeah, it did, but it was downfield right where Kellen Winslow was, so possibly someone was either interfering with him or vice versa.
Offensive interference. I would suspect the Redskins will let that one go because it'll bring up 4th down and the punting unit for San Diego.
Yeah, if it was Kellen, Kellen said, wait, I'll get off me. Hey, hold it, hold it. He might have said something he shouldn't.
Pass interference. No number.
No number, I see.
I suspect it might have been number 80. He is upset. That's Kellen Winslow. Murray Buford on to punt. Nelms is deep for Washington. Buford gets another beauty. Nelms from the 20-yard line. And he's in trouble there. He's warmed under at the 23-yard line. 46-yard effort by Buford. And a 1st down and 10 for the Redskins. They'll have it at their own 23-yard line. 4:58 remaining in the first half from San Diego. Here's for you, working radio for the Washington Network. That's Sonny Jurgensen, top of your screen in the red shirt, if you have color, and we hope you do. Sam Huff with his hand in front of his face down in the lower part. Of course, Sam earning his honors both as a Giant and a Redskin. 1st down 10, the Redskins at their own 23-yard line. Monk splits to the right. Walker, slot left. Play action by Theismann. Theismann, down he goes, out over the 25-yard line. Gain of about 3 as Lyndon King made sure that Joey stopped it right there.
You know, Sam looks wonderfully well.
He's in great shape, isn't he? About 15 or 20 pounds lighter than what he played.
Sonny looks like he's in his playing weight. which was always about 20 pounds over. But he looks good.
Hey, Kilmer and Sunday gave him a lot of thrills as to whether or not they'd be available on Sunday. Good thing they weren't parking lot attendants.
But they always had a way of showing up, didn't they?
They always had a way of winning. Second down and 7. Riggins left side. All right. Still has the speed, and he still has the power as Riggins goes for the first down out over the 35, close to the 38 in the arms of Ken Green. He's getting a little long in the tooth, but he's in remarkable condition, John Riggins, and he can still make that move off tackle, break it to the outside. We saw him do it up in Green Bay. He's done it several times this year. He works best inside, but he can still get to the outside. He was a 9.7 sprinter back in his high school days.
He is superb, too, coming out of the backfield for the pass reception. Namath used to use him beautifully in that vein.
First down 10. Heisman, Monk.
Well set up.
Blanker screen. It was set up beautifully, and Monk will have the first down up close to midfield. The old bird defensively there on the stop. Got a good block from Charlie Brown.
You see that pattern a lot, and the Redskins that time threw it from a rather unusual formation with Charlie Brown on the inside. And Charlie actually was a guy that came down and did make a good block 8 or 10 yards down the field.
This is Redskins football, too.
It really is, Frank. I mean, they're really not.
High percentage.
Yeah, they do that. And I think that's one of the things, not taking a thing away from Theismann, but that's how you don't throw a lot of interceptions either, because you don't have to force the ball a lot.
First down and 10. The Redskins 49-yard line.
Here they come.
Riggins. Not much doing on the left side. He'll get a couple of yards. It'll bring up second and long, second down and 8, and we'll see Joe Washington, the gifted receiver for the Redskins, move into the backfield. Riggins will move over to the bench.
What did Joe have last week? 147 yards rushing.
147 yards rushing.
Man, that's quite a day.
22 attempts. He caught a touchdown pass. He had something like 180 total yards offense.
He's a team by himself.
Actually, he was a #1 draft pick of the Chargers back in 1976. Second and long. Theismann got a blitz, but he gets the ball away in a hurry. And he had to throw short as Andre Young came in unimpeded. Theismann has that sense about it, and he delivered the ball, but he took a vicious shot.
Well, he had him open, too, he looked like to me. You're right. Andre Young is the guy, when he blitz more than you got blocking, there's nobody going to pick him up, so he wasn't touched. Joe, of course, has got his back away, and whammo.
2-minute warning. Actually, 1:57 remaining here in the first half. Both teams have their full complement of timeouts.
Take the plunge on the Battle of the Network Stars Thursday night on ABC.
1:57 remaining here in the first half. We're tied at 7 from San Diego. Must game for the San Diego Chargers. They know it. Don Coryell said that this morning when he visited with us. They are 3 and 5 AFC West. If they can win tonight, however, they'll be only 2 games behind Denver and the Raiders. And of course, Washington trying to stay close to Dallas. Third down and 8. Theismann, Charlie Brown. He has the first down at the 35-yard line.
Really well thrown, well-timed pass that time.
Charlie Brown does make the big plays.
That was not bad defensive coverage. You know, you had Danny Walters was there, and you just really can't expect him to cover him inside and outside. It was well-timed. Charlie Brown made a good move.
First down 10, 35-yard line. Charlie Brown covered by Danny Walters, who had to respect his speed. It was good coverage, but you never know when Charlie Brown is going to let it go on a fly. On first and 10, Theismann back. Goes to Joe Washington, incomplete. And Joe Washington well covered. Kind of sad note.
Frank, Don, this will affect both of you very much.
Certainly does.
We've just received word that Papa Bear, George Hallis, octogenarian, died tonight, 9:35 p.m. Chicago time. It was inevitable, but anybody who's ever followed sports in this country knows that this has been one of the great pioneers of sport. And in pro football, going back so many years, more than 60 of them, when he began with the Decatur Staleys and the late Chuck Dressen as his quarterback. More later. Frank.
2nd down and 10 Redskins. Heisman. The blitz was picked up. Charlie Brown, intended receiver, and a great diving deflection by Danny Walters, the rookie from Arkansas.
Oh, is he having a game? You folks are seeing the birth of a very important defensive player in this league tonight.
Maybe an entire unit. We've not seen San Diego play defense because we're always watching them go up and down the field offensively, but that was an outstanding defensive play. Not a badly thrown ball at all. If you'll see, that would have been right in his arms. Good route. Excellent reactions by that young rookie out of Arkansas.
I could just add to what Howard said a moment ago. We've lost a great one. George Halas, I knew him personally in his late 80s. Nobody fought as hard as he did throughout his entire life. He'll be missed by everyone who has ever been connected with this game. George Halas dead tonight.
Definitely a committed man. He was an awful lot to a lot of us, right? Oh, no.
On a 3rd down and 10, Art Monk doesn't hold on. It would have been the 1st down. It'll bring up 4th down and decision time for Joe Gibbs.
They're going to try to kick it.
Mark Moseley.
There's another man in Chicago tonight whom you know is crying. And we've spent so much time with him. And indeed, he grew up with me in Brooklyn. We were in high school in the same era. And maybe the man George loved the most, Sidney Luckman, number 42.
Saw him last week, and you're absolutely right. They were great friends.
52-yard effort. Hit the right crossbar. It had the distance. And Moseley has missed twice tonight, once from 43 and now from 52.
And it is Halloween. Strange things happen on Halloween.
58 seconds remaining in the half. The Chargers have 3 timeouts. So Moseley, who has been fairly accurate in the early part of the year, is in a bit of a slump. And all kickers go through that kind of emotion. Until that play, the diving interception, Joe Theismann had 161 attempts without an interception. That was his 4th interception of the year. We have a 1st down and 10 for the Chargers. They're tied at 7 with the Redskins. 58 seconds remaining in the 1st half. The Chargers have 3 timeouts. Chuck Muncie in the lineup, and we would not suspect he would be there unless Don Coryell was going looking for points. Bobby Duckworth, and is picked off.
He said, you can have it right back.
That's Anthony Washington, who gets the football back for Washington, and that was just a prayer pass by Luther.
That's really it. You kind of wonder why he would do it right then. With a little over 50 seconds to go. It's just a haul off and throw. It's not a pass, that's a throw.
I tell you, Washington has really helped this Redskins defense that was hurting early in the year. They got him from Pittsburgh right at the start of the season. He plays that nickel back, and he plays it very well for them. Washington now has a 1st down and 10. The ball at their own 22-yard line. 49 seconds remaining in the half. And for Washington, 3 timeouts. You won't see Theismann doing that. He can move it a long way in 50 seconds.
Gosh, dog.
That shot taken there by Don Warren right in the chest as he came across the middle.
And Miles McPherson was a nickel cornerback that came in there.
If it's possible for him to get up, Warren will, because this is some competitor. When Bobby Beathard tried him out, he ran the 40 in 5 seconds, and everybody said he was too slow. But Beathard stuck with him and lied about his speed. Told Coach Gibbs it's 4.8. Coach Gibbs tied him, and
they continue to work with Don Warren, and as you can see, he's in considerable pain. We'll be back, hopefully, with a full report on Don Warren's condition after this message from the National Football League. But he did it better than he did. Don Warren, as you can see, up on his own feet.
Now, just to finish that story, Coach Gibbs timed Don Warren as you look again at that hit and discovered that, yes, it was 5 seconds for the 40. But he told his general manager, Bobby Beathard, you were right. When a guy is a competitor like that, the seconds don't matter.
Second down and 10. 2 timeouts now remain for Joe Theismann and his Redskins. Theismann has the first down, stops the clock, saves the timeout. The Redskins will have the ball just inside their own 35-yard line. 36 seconds remaining in the half.
The aim obvious, use that clock, get to field goal position, which San Diego mistakenly didn't try to do.
We've seen Theismann on a kind of a little he starts back on a rollout these last 2 plays. That does give him some time to throw, but it also eats up a little time. Let's see if he does it again.
The man he likes to get it to, the high percentage, is Joe Washington. He can throw short to him. But this time, we get Charlie Brown over the middle at midfield. And he'll have another first down, and Theismann will stop the clock again with 1 timeout remaining and 29 seconds on the clock. Charlie Brown took it straight down, broke it over, and a little hook in, and gets the first down at the 49-yard line of San Diego. John Warren, the word is, he had the wind knocked out of him. That shot by Miles McPherson, and we can understand why.
You easily figure that one out.
Theismann ended the night 61.4%, 17 touchdowns. Only Glenn Dickey had thrown more. He had 18 after 8 games. And he got his 4th interception tonight. But he is the leader of this offensive unit.
And even though it's Halloween, this thing still stands. This telecast is presented by the authority of the National Football League. It's intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the expressed written consent of the National Football League is prohibited.
Is Halloween like Halloween?
Halloween, they're close. It's trick-or-treat night, you know? Did I say Halloween, or what did I say?
It doesn't matter. If you say it, that's the way we call it.
Oh, good. Tell that lady to put her mask back on.
Did you trick-or-treat at both houses in Mount Vernon?
Yeah, we did all of them. That was kind of fun, though. I was all get scared at Halloween. I didn't like to go out. Everybody was all dressed up. I don't like clowns too much. People hiding behind masks and things. It always scared me.
29 seconds remaining in the half. The Redskins down to 1 timeout. They have a first down and 10. The ball at the Chargers' 49-yard line. Giaquinto in motion. Theismann.
That's a nice throw. I can't believe that.
Somewhere in the general area of Art Monk, but Ken Green was back there, and Danny Walters almost got another interception.
You know, I think Joe may have been trying to throw that over everybody and didn't realize how far it was downfield, because he certainly was not trying to hit Monk, was he? Well, heck, who knows? It's a long way from here down there.
Joe said something rather revealing today when we talked with him. He said, you know, when I go back to pass, he said, my little receivers, the Smurfs as they call them, Alvin Garrett, Charlie Brown, Virgil C., they don't even see him. But he says, well, I don't see them either.
Nor does he. He said, I like a small nose guy.
He's very complimentary of his offensive line. How smart those guys were.
Second down and 10. Redskins showing a lot of moves. Theismann, Monk holds on this time, and he's down to the 27-yard line. And Theismann uses the final timeout with 14 seconds remaining here at halftime.
All right, let's take a look at what Danny White did yesterday at Giant Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. All the quarterback did was throw 5 touchdown passes. There were his stats for the day. First quarter action, Giants leading 7-0. Danny White looking for number 80. You remember 80, Tony Hill from Stanford, 7-7. In the third quarter, the Giants had rallied to 17-17. And Danny White would then open the floodgates. He would throw to the huge tight end, Doug Cosby, and Cosby was on his way 61 yards to touchdown, and Dallas smothered the Giants 38-20.
5 touchdowns. That tied your record, didn't it, Don?
Well, it certainly did.
Be humble, but I mean it did. That's quite an effort.
It really was. There's several Cowboy quarterbacks that thrown 5 touchdown passes. I saw that game yesterday, and it was really funny. The Giants came out. We saw them last Monday, and they didn't look like the same team. And I understand, I don't know for sure, but I know that Rutledge was hurt. I haven't heard today. I hope he was not too badly hurt, but he started off, had a good first quarter.
Dislocated knee, Don.
Not good.
14 seconds remaining. No timeouts for Washington. First down and 10. Theismann being very careful. He's well within range.